everyone, and welcome back to Brown Coat Reviews. I'm your host, Laura, and this is my favorite co-host, my husband, Scott, and welcome to Married with Comics. So, before we get started with our pull list and our goodies for the week, a couple quick shout-outs. So, Kevin Koss had reported on our last Married with Comics official pull list video that he was really excited about the manga title that we grabbed and was hoping that we would get an interview. So guess what, Kevin? I have an update. We did get an interview with the artist. So I will be meeting with her on May the 1st. So that's a Saturday. And I'm going to try and kind of turn around and get the video posted within a day or two afterwards because I'm really excited about the interview. So yes, I will have information about the title, the series, and how to get copies if you're interested. So more is definitely coming. For our Once and Future video, because we did some book reviews lately. So on that one, Doug was the one who said, "You guys are so much fun to watch." Thank you, Doug. And Bruce Wayne, this one's for you, Scott. Bruce Wayne said, "Great video, loving Scott's look, very gentlemanly. Reminds me of someone from Peaky Blinders."
Mm-hmm. Thank you. I was going for that, Bruce, so thank you very much.
And for our Noctera video, Matthew H. He said he had backed the series on a Kickstarter and ended up getting a behind-the-scenes book signed by Scott Snyder, which I think is really awesome.
It's very cool.
Didn't know about the Kickstarter, so if I did, I probably would have backed it because of Scott Snyder. But that's really, really awesome that you were able to get that. So our pull list, so technically the official pull list is small this week. So Scott's going to start with the pull list and then you'll see what I sneakingly have added to the collection this week.
So we have Amazing Spider-Man number 64. And I liked it so much, I had to get the Carlos Pacheco Heroes Reborn variant cover. Yeah. Really like that. Thought that was so cool. They're both very cool covers, but yeah, I really like that Pacheco. And then on mine, also I have Catwoman. This is issue 30. Yeah, sorry. Little glare there on my end. And this is the Jenny, it's either Frison or Frizon variant cover. Just thought that was absolutely gorgeous. Yeah. I love the ivy around her and something about her eyes in particular on this one. Just very, very cool.
Definitely.
That's it for me.
So for the us pile, I'm going to make Scott go through it because the Laura pile gets really big.
So we have issue number 3 of Stray Dogs. Again, if this is something that you have heard of and have not picked up yet, I highly recommend it in the way that the story is being told through the eye of, witnesses. Yes. A different voice than you maybe have heard in the past. And, the drawing on it, the art on it, you can see the 3 up there. It reminds you of Disney, yes. But at the same time, the content is definitely not Disney related. So don't be put off by that. And the fact that I love anything to do with dogs. You saw my Guilty Pleasure video. The writing, though, just icing on the cake.
Only thing that I will say, our LCS over at Ultimate Comics Raleigh gave us a heads up that this week's issue is a little bit more intense than the last ones. So they're like kind of emotionally prepare yourself. I have no idea what to make of that, but I'm going to be finding out soon.
So the other one we have is a variant cover. I think this is a 1 in 10.
Yeah. That
Laura has been eyeing at our Ultimate Comics Raleigh shop for quite a while because
yes.
This is issue 14. It's been out for a while. We have another variant cover that I saw and grabbed at the shop right away because I might not be as good at delayed gratification. Guilty. But anyhow, this is the 1 in 10 cover, black and white.
That's so cool.
She finally rewarded herself and grabbed this one, I see.
Because the pull list was so small this week, I'm like...
see, I like that logic, we only have a few, so let's add to the pile.
I'm helping support a local. Exactly.
That's right.
See?
That's the end of my and us pile, so take it away.
Let's just say my pile's a bit bigger. Okay, so first things first, I had the very first yard sale Comic-Con, which they kept calling it the Yard Con, and I'm like, what on earth are you guys doing? Basically, it was like 5 different guys who had comic book collections who all got together for a yard sale and had long boxes and then kind of miscellaneous stuff. It was in the Raleigh area, so of course I was not the only one. I think I was the only female there that was actually looking at comic books. Typical. Well, I tend to be in a minority. There are other women who read comic books, but for this yard con, listen, it was me and a whole bunch of guys. So we were digging through the boxes. The only negative that was going on, at least for the yard con, is each table, and sometimes you would have the comic book collection split within a table. So some of them would be $1 issues, some of them would be sticker price, some of them would be negotiate on the price, and some of them were 50% off the sticker price. But you didn't know, and I didn't know when I walked up to the table because there's no sign. It's just a whole bunch of long boxes or short boxes and go through it. So at the beginning, I was doing my normal like warehouse sale of just grab titles like crazy, and then normally when I'm done, I kind of filter through and pick the ones that I really want. And I was helping a friend. So I was like, okay, well, let's see from that. And then I found out that the table that I've been going through was retail sticker price. I'm like, oh, I wouldn't pay full price for any of these. No. So put all of them back. The 2 titles that I did grab. So this was from the dollar box. So this is American Gods, issue number, I believe it's 8. As you well know, I am slowly working my way through Neil Gaiman run of all of his series. So this was just a quick little addition to that. And this one. So the other thing you're going to see plenty of is Spawn. I again announced months ago that I was very slowly, and I was okay with the delayed gratification of slowly building my way up to a Spawn collection. And it's amazing how many Spawn titles keep kind of appearing in my path, and it's so terrible.
Yeah, how'd that work out for you?
I got one! So this one was the version variant. This is issue 302. 302? Oh, I'm gonna mess up the number. But anyways, it is the first appearance of She-Spawn. And I thought this cover was absolutely gorgeous. There was no way I was turning it down. The guy gave me a good price on it. So I was very, very satisfied. I just, love it. Other fun goodies that came in this week that I had purchased before. So I talked last week about the Spider-Man Spider's Shadow variants that I said it was an exclusive. I ordered it. It arrived. You may have seen it in my announcement video. So this is the Miko Suyon cover, and I love it. There is a black and white version that is also very, very beautiful. I picked the colored version just because I think the red and the blue with the black just really pop and kind of give that Venom nasty look. I love it. This is Wolverine 88. Which is the Wolverine versus Deadpool issue. I purchased that a while ago. Love it. Joker of the Year. So I grabbed this specifically because when I started reading the Joker series with James Tynion IV, I went to my local LCS, was telling them how much I absolutely loved it, and this was the issue that they highly recommended. They said it's a one-shot, and it just gives a really good Joker story, kind of for the mythology and the character. So they're like, if you can ever get a hold of it, grab it. And guess what? I was able to get a hold of it. So that one's really fun. I want to say it's a Carpenter. Yeah, John Carpenter series. Silk came out a couple weeks ago and my copy finally arrived. Hooray. And this was a King in Black issue. And this is the cover done by Ken Lashley. So, oh darn, another Ken Lashley added to the pile. Now, if only I could say that that is actually the end of the pile. So, pile number 1. Also known as, my husband's going to need to start talking because this is going to take a while. Basically, what I did is I went to the Kraken's Hoard and they're like, hey, if you dig through these boxes, and they're like, we're trying to move some of these indie titles, which I do like traditional, like more mainstream titles. I like Marvel, I like DC, but I also read indie titles, which I didn't realize was sometimes a rarity. Some people just sort of stay loyal to DC or Marvel. Nothing wrong with that. So instead, I went through their indie titles and I went a little hog wild. So I'm just going to start putting some of these up because this is going to take a while. Take a deep breath, grab a cup of coffee. Deadpool, black and white, issue number 1. Gotta love Deadpool. Scott's seeing some of these for the first time because I am making a point of hiding some of these until I've got him on camera, so that way he can't get too mad at me because look at all the cool comic books! It's Deadpool 25th anniversary! I mean, come on, it's cool! See, you see this look
cool.
on his...
So you got Luke Cage and Iron Fist on there.
Exactly! And Daredevil. See?
Yeah.
You guys are keeping me out of trouble. I don't even know which version. This is an exciting variant cover. I don't care. It was just a really cool... Oh, variant cover number 5 for Deadpool. And I read some of the bubbles and they're just... It's really funny, really cute. So, grab that one. Superman, Wonder Woman, I am slowly building up a run, and then I'm going to read it and talk to you all about it. So, this was filling in a gap. This series, so, told you, I read indie titles. We've mentioned briefly that when it comes to classic literature, like I said, I was the English major, my husband was not. So, anytime we can get those stories that are kind of choking fun at, or at least making fun of classic literature, we laugh an awful lot and we read them. So this was a series that I found at the Ultimate Comics Raleigh, or Ultimate Comics warehouse sale. And anytime I see it, I grab it. I have not read it yet, but the title alone is always enough for me to grab the series. It's called Kill Shakespeare. And yes, it makes me laugh every single time I see the title. And I'm like, I have no idea if it's just making fun of the tragedies, if it has just the Shakespearean name.
It's gotta be both. I mean, look at the guy's mask. It's tragedy and comedy.
Exactly. I'm like,
half and half.
It's just...
That alone is enticement for me, because
it looks so cool. This was Sin City number 1. I was like, I'm sorry, you want to get rid of Sin City? I'm here. Black Orchid Book 1. So this is a Neil Gaiman book that I had no idea was out there, but now I'm reading it. American Vampire, Scott Snyder. I started grabbing this one. I tried grabbing the recent American Vampire series. So that's the second cycle. And for some odd reason, the current series does not... I'm sure it ties into the previous ones, but you can't start the series there. So I learned very, very quickly that I needed to go back before I go forward. So this is the strain, and this is just filling in an absolute ton of gaps for me in this series. I grabbed this series. I know very little about it beyond it's a Dark Horse series. The covers are awesome. I grabbed it because it's written by Guillermo del Toro. Now, say it again.
Guillermo del Toro, not Gilliard. That might be his brother or cousin or something. But...
Hey, that's why I keep him around. But anyways, if you haven't watched any of his series, movies, they're definitely worth it. And I'm incredibly curious how he does on a writing standpoint. He's an incredibly gifted director. He's got a very good visual tone to different stories. So I was really curious, and they had a lot of the strain, and they were willing
and
to
now we
it.
do.
Exactly. Isn't that amazing how that works out? And the last one. It even says the end on there.
Yeah, I thought this was a show as well. This is on Hulu.
Oh, hey, it's on Hulu.
So I knew I had seen it before, out not in just print form. So yeah, it's another one we can read and watch. Compare.
So this last one, again, I know nothing about it. I grabbed it solely based on the covers because the covers are cool. But this is what happens when I go through boxes and they're like, hey, we'll give you a great price. We're just trying to move products. I help. It's my job. It's called Across Badlands. And look at that. See, even he's willing to admit the covers are cool.
It's just a cool take on Red Riding Hood.
Exactly. This is actually what started it. It was their version of Red Riding Hood.
Wow, that's some graphic, gory covers
yes,
there.
It is.
Sorry, maybe we should have put a disclaimer before we showed that one, but...
Sorry. Not suitable for children. I'm like, I don't know if we're dealing with zombies. I don't care. We're going to find out. And I know that is way, way later in the series, but like, let's find out what it is. Have any of you actually read that one? What on earth did I get myself into? I don't know. It looked cool. Now, it feels like Christmas. I did it! I got some Spawn! Okay, so I'm just going to start throwing these titles up because I got a couple. This one, thank you to Chris. So this is issue number 8. He had an extra and he gave it to me, which is so awesome. Issue number 9, this one I did end up purchasing from the Kraken's Hoard. So this is the first appearance of Angela. But the rest of these, Chris, who you're going to see in an interview in the next couple days, Chris was at a random, like, antique shop that just had kind of used goods, and they had comic books there. So they had this entire pile of Spawn, each one listed for $2 a piece.
Which is cover price.
Which is cover price. However, for those of you who aren't paying attention to Spawn right now, each one of these issues is going at minimum for $5. Because Spawn Universe is coming, everyone else and their mother is in the exact same boat as me, saying, hey, let's get a full Spawn run, because as soon as Spawn Universe hits, everyone is going to want more Spawn. Which, nothing wrong with that. Gotta have more Spawn in our lives. So, I was able to grab an absolute ton of Spawn for a great price that, again, I couldn't get anywhere else. I've seen some of these listed for $6, $7. So, and I mean, look at those covers. Gotta love Todd McFarlane. This one is one of my favorites. So this is issue number 50. I just love it. '51. Very random. It's another good one. So, I've told you about Spawn in general. Spawn was actually one of Scott's favorites. And I started reading it, absolutely loved it. I want to read more. And I especially love the artwork done by Todd McFarlane.
Savage Dragon?
Huh? I don't know. Is it? Did Savage Dragon make an appearance in the cartoon? Or the animated series, I should say? Do you know? So why do you like Spawn so much?
It's just a cool storyline.
Uh-huh.
Vengeance. Somebody put in a bad position doesn't coalesce to what they're being tried to be coerced into.
So for this series, let's say for me, what got me into it was, yeah, there's vengeance, but I liked his story. Because sometimes when you have some of these vengeance stories, like Punisher, where they kind of have the situation thrown upon them, Spawn, it felt like he got thrown into this horrible situation and then had to make the best of it. He didn't really get a huge amount of choice. And then I always feel like he's stuck between a rock and a hard place and then gets to do some really cool things. But, like I said, I'm still very, very early on in the series. And thanks to Chris, I have a lot more titles. You know what this means? I'm going to need a short box. Just for Spawn. Ha ha ha. So if Todd McFarlane feels like releasing a decorated Spawn box, I bet they will for Spawn Universe. We're getting to the end, folks. So Scott, which series are you reading right now?
I'm finishing up House of X and Powers of X. And I kind of wanted to go back, read those before I jumped in on my X of Swords, which I subscribed to, grabbed all of them when they came out, but haven't read any of them yet. Doing a little prequel or research ahead of time, I guess you call it.
Last one. And that is the end. Now, I did not purchase all of these this week. Like the Kraken's Hoard pile of back issue goodies. I think I picked those out like 2 months ago. And was like, hey, just hold off on these and that'll happen. Spawn, I think Nick bought that one over a month ago. And I went ahead and paid for that. And finally got in touch with Kraken's Hoard and Chris this week over at the live show with Kraken's Hoard. So that's a huge chunk of the reason that I picked up so many titles this week. But definitely filled in a lot of series. So I guess the important questions for you guys for this week is, are you focusing more on getting brand new titles, or are you digging through the back issues and checking out different locations to try and fill in some gaps in your collections? Or are you sticking straight with trades, omnibuses, and calling it a year? Because I will say that was the theme of most of the comments on our Once and Future video, was that everyone is waiting for that deluxe edition hardcover. And I do not blame you.
Yeah.
As always, we are Scott and Laura over here at Brown Coat Reviews, and we will see you all again very soon. Have a good day.